My name is Mike Sadler, and I've spent my life with cars. Whether it's sand dunes and drag strips, museums, car shows, even the backyard garage, I'm always on the lookout for speed and shine. Got this project I'm working on, and now I'm putting some dyno mat inside the Maverick to quiet down, but let's put those aside and talk about today's episode. It's all about the Jackson Cruise-In, and we had a special event where Rick Klebinski brought down the Forcasta, and we went around and looked at some other standout cars. Check it out. Hey, we're here in downtown Jackson, Michigan at the Cruise-In, and Rick Klebinski bought out his Forcasta bubble car. It is a great night. Let's go check out some of these other rides. Robert, I'm glad I get to talk to you about this truck because I put this on one of our reels on our Facebook page. It's got hundreds of thousands of views. People love it.
I found it.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You're pretty impressed,
It
huh?
was awesome.
You're impressed with your own truck?
I'm
it looks so
impressed
good.
with the video, yeah.
This truck, the fit and finish, is just absolutely stunning. Did you
Thank
do
you.
the work?
Yeah, I did everything but the paint.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I did the body work. I did the metal work. I basically built it from the ground up. And then I had a guy come to my shop and spent 3 months painting it.
So is this your trade? Is this what you do for a living? Or?
No, I'm an excavator. I was an electrician.
I don't know what you're doing doing that. You should be doing this.
I needed a hobby.
Okay.
And so I tried duck hunting, and it's cold. And so I said, well, what do I like? When I was a kid, and
right.
My dad did Model A's, and I says, well, let's try a car. And I got a chassis. It's a Roadshow Shop chassis.
Okay.
And I bought that from the Ring Brothers out in Wisconsin.
Right.
And I went out there, and Mike said to me, he goes, Robert, whatever you do, build it, look at it, and if it doesn't fit what you want, don't hesitate to rip it off. And that was my motto. I just kept building it until I went through a lot of sheet metal.
And block sanding.
And block sanding.
I'm currently in the block sanding stage after replacing and making my own panels on my Maverick, and it's incredible time consuming. Well, you're really good at it.
Well,
though.
Thank you.
I mean,
Thanks.
you look down this; it's laser straight.
Thank you.
And
fantastic. I had help with that. Todd Sheehan, a buddy. He used to paint for Larry Jordan. He helped me on that part of it. Yeah.
And what do you have for the engine?
That's a 525 LS3. And rear tire dynoed at 490.
490.
Yeah. So.
How long ago was the work done?
I just got it done last year.
Okay, so it's
it was a 4-year project.
Are you afraid to drive it?
Not at all.
No, it's what it was built for.
That was a bit. I built it to show it, and drive. The whole underneath is paneled. So I drove it the first time. I took it home, put it on the lift, and was starting to clean it, and I said, this isn't going to get it, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
So I took the panels off. The bottom's going to be what the bottom is. I'm not putting it on mirrors anymore.
Right.
I drive it, yeah.
The interior's fantastic. Who did that for you?
Mike Carr.
Okay.
Yeah, do you know Mike?
No, I don't.
He's in, I always call it Concord, but they call it Albion.
Oh, okay.
Out by Brembo down Dirt
I know
Road.
who you're talking about now. Right, yeah.
Him and his wife Betsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great
fantastic.
people. Yeah.
And that design in the bed, you came up with that?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the second design. The first design, I had all the metal or the wood all glued, and I panel bonded it in like they do the new trucks.
Sure.
And went out one night, and it had expanded and ruined the whole bed, so that was a start over. So yeah, it's all just
It's fantastic.
Hey, thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, well,
I
enjoy
appreciate it. Did you notice the grill is all billet?
Yes.
Yeah. So my son 3D printed these.
The
in
bezels?
plastic.
The bezels?
The bezels and the tail lights, he 3D printed all that in plastic. And then we did all the metal work around it. And then I had a buddy, Scott Brocky, did all the fabric, the billet aluminum. And then I built the grill out of wood.
Okay.
And Arrow laser cut it, imaged it and laser cut it. And I had him, they did all the tooling on it.
Arrow Steel right here in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
What a clean look.
Thanks.
Absolutely amazing. Thanks for talking to us.
No problem.
Jim, this car is just so beautiful. It's glowing over here.
Oh, thank you.
And this is, what year is it?
1978.
King Cobra.
I bought it new in 1978, actually.
Did you really? This car?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was, and I drove it for about 12 years, and then I decided when I retire, I'd work on it. So I went through the whole thing, nuts and bolts, and restored it.
So you restored this?
Yes.
Beautiful job.
Thank you.
When I just was walking up behind it too, just underneath is clean, like it was just done. Did you just do it?
Well, a while back, I've done everything on it.
Yeah?
Underneath, undercarriage, engine compartment, interior. Interior is pretty much original. The only thing that isn't is the dashboard panels. That's about it. But everything else is pretty much, it's got 60,000 miles on it, I guess.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And so after you restored it, you were able to get the actual decal package like this and get it put back on?
Well, that's an interesting story. I mean, the decals that are around the windows, they're all die cut.
Okay.
I had that step 40 years sitting in my garage.
Waiting?
Yeah, waiting to restore. So that's what's on there. This is an aftermarket hood decal because they don't. What I had was the original one, and the gold was flaking off.
Sure, sure.
Wasn't lasting. And then the rest is pinstriping around the bottom. I put all that on myself.
Yeah, the pinstriping around the Cobra, and then it's highlighted in the wheel is really something.
Yeah, the wheels that's the way they came from the factory.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was a red car with all the orange trim.
It stands out. And then you got to have the T-tops,
T-tops,
right?
Yeah.
Now, was all King Cobras come with the T-tops?
No,
or it was an option? All right. The interior, it looks pretty stock.
It is. It's all stock. It's what's called the deluxe interior.
Okay.
But I didn't get the console. I just wanted the carpet across the hump.
Yeah,
so
looks
it's a
fine.
4-speed 302 V8. Yeah, so.
About 170 horse?
No, I think it's about 139
139? Okay.
This is 1978.
That's true.
Pollution controls.
Right. Yeah. Still a hatchback here,
yes,
right?
Yes. Fold down rear seat.
Okay. It's just beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It really is, and it's really great that it's been yours only.
Yeah, I'm the original owner. I ordered it and everything back then. In fact, my dad was a salesman.
Oh.
So his name's on the paperwork and stuff from it. So that's where it came from.
Well, you did a fantastic job restoring it. It looks like, I think it actually looks better than it did new.
Yeah, I think so too.
When Hannah makes a claim with America's Preferred Home Warranty, she's able to choose her own licensed contractor for the repairs. But why does that matter? Let's see how it benefits you. First of all, you can choose a licensed contractor you know, or someone who comes highly recommended. Also, you can choose someone available on your schedule. After all, if a repair is urgent, you don't want to be waiting for the warranty company to send someone. You want it done fast. When you choose, you're in control. Your claim is determined using an independent assessment from your licensed contractor. And you can apply your claim payment to the parts and equipment that work best for your needs and budget. Finally, Hannah loves that choosing her own licensed contractor keeps money in her local community, which is a win for everyone. Just remember to always reach out to APHW before starting repairs. It's good to have a choice, and choosing your own licensed contractor with America's preferred home warranty gives you the flexibility and control you deserve.
Rick, it is fantastic you brought this Forcasta down for us. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You know, this is the first time this car has ever been in Jackson. You know, I've owned it for many, many, many years. It's been all over the world, toured all over. And you guys came to me and, yeah, that sounds great. And the weather finally cooperated with us.
I know, when we woke up today, we were concerned what was going to happen.
Right.
But it's beautiful. It's really warm. And you know, what is so amazing about this car is here's a March 1962 Carcraft. And you know, the centerfold, or the car is in there. And here it is, right here.
Yes.
It was in your garage.
Yes. Yeah, we finally got to see some daylight.
Yeah.
You know, I have a lot of friends that today that was help loading it up and never seen it out of the garage.
Yeah, once the sun hit the sparkle or the metallic and the flake in the paint, it was just amazing. Now, how did you acquire this?
I was at an auto show, and I usually took my whole crew. I had a body shop in the Ann Arbor area. I took my whole crew to the show, and we were usually the first ones there. I seen the car, and I looked at the car. It had a for sale sign on it. And the guy says, "You interested? You know what the car is?" And I says, "Yeah." I says, "But I'm not really interested because you want too much money for it. I read the price wrong."
Oh, okay.
And so anyway, I always carried a company check, a blank check with me. So I took in, he told me the price. I said, "You know, I'll buy it." So I bought it. And after I bought it, he says, "I can't deliver it until Monday. How's that sound?" And I says, "Real good. I want you to deliver it to my shop in Ann Arbor."
Okay.
My wife was working there that day, and she said to me, she says, "I don't know what came in the driveway right here, but something from outer space. I don't know what you bought or whatever," but she says, "You better get up here right now." All my employees went up there. Everybody laughed at me. I was the laughing stock of all my friends, my neighbors, everybody. But you know what? In turn, I can laugh back at them because it's very rare and worth a ton of money.
It is. It is. And how long have you had it now?
Yeah, I bought it back in the 80s. I can't remember exactly when, but then I've had it for a long time. We took and toured the car around different shows and that. We were a feature car at St. Ignace, and my wife and I would be driving it around there, and it was like 85, 87 degrees. Inside the bubble, 150, 160 degrees. Pull up to a stoplight. It would be a magnet for people. People would be all around it. She raised up the bubble so we could get some fresh air in it, and off we'd go again. And while we were there, I don't know if any of you guys remember this back then, but Ronnie Dove, the singer, he did a photo shoot with it. Dick Biondi out of WLS in Chicago, he did a photo shoot with it at the same time. And everywhere as they've taken it, it just draws a crowd, and it's just unreal.
Yeah, it's a fantastic car. How does it drive, though?
It drives real good. It drives just like a Corvair.
Just like a 60
Yep.
Corvair
Except
would.
a little hotter inside, though.
Yeah, and you know, I owned a Corvair. I had a 66
Okay.
Corvair convertible, and I know that they can be temperamental.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The car has went through 3 changes. Darryl Starbird built the car in 1961. He built it out of a brand new 60 Corvair that got wrecked, little 2-door coupe. And it was fuchsia color the first time around. The car was sold, and it went to a Chuck Miller, and Chuck Miller lost it. Supposedly Chuck Miller was a bank robber.
Really?
And it was sold on the steps in Columbus, Ohio.
This car?
This car here. And the IRS sold it. And a guy named Frank Koss bought it. And he was a producer of car shows. And he changed the car. And they did an asymmetric front end and rear end on it. It was still basically the same color. And then it got sold again. Then it went into the Toledo area. And then it was changed to the gold metal flake. All this happened within like 3 to 5 years when it was done, and it's been this way ever since. Somebody had just built a clone of it just recently, and if I was going to redo the car, I'd redo it just the way it is, but right now it's just the same way it was when I got it, and that's the way I'm going to keep it.
Well, it's held up well for how many times it was changed and how it was built.
I've lent the car out. It seems like every time I lend it out, it gets a few more bruises and scratches on it, you know, but it's still a nice car.
Well, it's great that you lent it out because you don't make any money off that.
No.
What car, if you could have any car, what car would you have?
I don't know. One of these days I'll probably figure out what I need. I got too many as it is. That's what my wife tells me.
Well, I've been to some of your buildings. You do have quite a few cars.
Yeah, I got a couple of cars. I sold a few cars too, so I still got a lot of cars.
When did your love for cars start?
When I was a kid.
Yeah?
Yep. I can remember when I had my paper route, I would go into the 5 and Dime store. That was down by Kellogg's and Post Cereals in Battle Creek. And I'd walk in there. Do I spend the couple of dollars that I made on my paper route for a model, or I just wait? Of course, I'd buy the model, you know. There was a couple models that I never bought, but as I got older, I did find them, and I did finally buy them.
What was your first car then?
My first car was 36 Ford, and it was 53 Oldsmobile green. It had a 53 Mercury engine in it. It had white tires on the back. It had a red and white candy stripe interior in it. I remember driving that car. I was 15 years old. I finally got it running, and I took it to a place called Sip and Nip, and that was the driving in town in Battle Creek. I was 15 years old. On the way back, I got stopped by the cops.
Uh-oh.
Cops stopped me and wanted to look the car over and told me that my lights were flashing off and on. There was a short in the tail lights. He asked me how far I had to go. I said, just up around the corner. And he says, that's great. He says, why don't you just make sure you get on home? Never asked me for a license. So of course, I didn't have one.
Right.
Of course, those were the days when it was a lot of fun back then.
It was. Do you wish you had that car?
Yeah, I guess if I'd seen the car, I'd probably buy it back. I do have my high school car, Chop 34 Ford that I had. I had that, and I had a 60 Corvette, and I sold the Corvette, but I kept the 34, and I still have it. So I hope when I'm gone, it still stays in the family, but you never know on those deals.
Yeah. History's important. And,
yep.
You know, we learned a lot about the history of this car.
This car's got a lot of history. A lot of history.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
And these are some pictures here. This is when me and my wife was coming home, and it's basically the Jetsons.
Right.
I don't know if you guys can see this here. And this is when we were traveling. We look pretty much like the Jetsons, but we've had a lot of fun with the car over the years. And like I say, it's been all over everywhere, and it's been in a ton of magazines, on the cover of a ton of magazines. It's still, anywhere you take it, it draws a crowd, and people just wonder, you know, what's going on, you know, where'd that come from?
Yeah. And, you know, we're just getting started here tonight, and, you know, the crowds will be thickening up here. And
sure.
You know, it was great when we first got here. Those kids, the younger men walking around, just didn't even know what to think.
Well, it looks pretty neat on the back of this 1941 Dodge ramp truck here. You know, kind of sets his pace.
Yep. Well, we appreciate you, Rick, taking the time to get it out of your garage and let us see it, and thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like I say, first time in all those years I ever had to Jackson. So, yeah, hey, I'm glad you wanted it down here.
Yeah, we got to find some more of these hidden gems. sitting in people's garages. They need to come out and show themselves.
Sure do.
Shane, this vehicle, your truck here, really stands out. What are we looking at?
Phantom Roadster pickup. It started out as a 1948 Plymouth two-door car, and my dad, kind of a family build, mostly my dad. Get back.
I love you too, man.
My son decided just to go ahead, cut it in half, chop the top, do a little, different custom things here and there, but it really started out as a car.
Oh, this was a car originally.
Yep.
Wow, that's a big difference. And what color is it?
It's pale orange.
Pale orange, okay. And what's unique about it besides, all the chopping and all that? How about the interior? What's going on in there?
Interior was custom install. I can't remember what the seats came from. They're short back bucket seats, but the interior was done. Honestly, I can't remember. I think that guy's name was Steve. He did quite the number with the upholstery.
And something unique about the dash too.
Dashboard, we kept the stock dashboard. We just re-rolled sheet metal, formed it in with the door posts, kept the gauges out of it. Dakota Digital was nice enough to hook us up with a nice flat panel digital readout gauge.
Okay.
So you won't see it. You won't see that gauge board unless I start up the truck, and then it'll fold down from underneath the dash.
Oh, really?
And it's all digital readout. When I turn the truck off, it folds back up and you won't see it again.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. I've never seen that before.
It's different.
Yeah. And what do you have for an engine?
Just a regular 350. The truck don't weigh that much, so it don't require a whole lot of horsepower to get it moved down the street.
What do you do with it mostly? Just come to cruise nights and...
I'll drive it, here and there to work, over to another family member's house, mostly just out here, cruise night here, Brooklyn.
Cool.
Local.
Mark, your car is beautiful. I've known you for a while now. Tell us what it is.
It's 1969 Mach 1. I've owned since 1987. It's had quite a few engines in it. I think it's on its fourth one now. It's a 351 Windsor. I upgraded the 4-speed to a 5-speed T5, and it's a lot better on the highway now. I take a lot of shows. We go to the UP. We drive it all over. I put a lot of miles on it every year.
Yeah, that's one thing I know. You drive this car.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yes, I do.
You bought it to drive it and enjoy it.
Yep.
And you do.
For sure. For sure. That's what they're for.
Right.
Drive them.
It is.
Yep.
Now this is an automatic?
No, it's 5-speed.
5-speed.
Yep, T5 5-speed. Original 4-speed car, but I upgraded to the 5-speed, so I have overdrive.
Nice.
So
that really helps when you're going to.
Makes it a lot more drivable.
Right.
Yep. For what I do, I like to drive and not putt around town. I like to go on the highway and go.
Now, how many of these did they produce in that year? Do you know?
A lot.
Did they?
Yeah, I think 75,000 Mach 1s were produced.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah. So there's a lot of them.
And this color is called?
It's called Indian Fire Red.
Okay.
Original color. Of course, it's base coat, clear coat now.
Right.
Not back in the day, but yep, original color. We try to keep it as close as possible. I like to keep my stuff original.
Now you have a few cars, don't you? Mustangs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My wife has a '67 Fastback. My son had a '65 Fastback, and I had an '03 Mach 1, and he wanted to do a trade. because he has a couple little kids and they have airbags in that Mach 1, so we traded cars. So now he has the 03 and I have the 65 Fastback. So, and then my father-in-law, he passed away in December, and that's his car over there, the 34 Ford my wife inherited. So we also have that.
Yeah. Like they say, how many cars do you need? One more than you have, right?
I know, and I have some for sale if anybody's looking.
Okay, all right. That's not a rust hole. That's how I bolt the seat in. Wasn't that a great episode? That truck is absolutely stunning. And a special thanks to Rick Klebinski for bringing the Forcasta down. Until next time.
Matt,
We're ready.
we're ready to go. I'm ready whenever you are.
Is this the opening for the show or just me and Rick?
This is just you and Rick.
Well, Rick, what'd you have for dinner last night?
You know, I had a pork chop that was grilled, and then I had some baked sweet potato that was pretty good.